There are already mechanisms and strategies that were introduced to fight the war on drugs. The Philippines has been very aggressive when it comes to the fight on war on drugs, but in 2016, when when then former President Rodrigo Duterte elected as the president, it became one of his agenda to lessen the drug proliferation and abuse in the Philippines. The purpose of this research is to evaluate the policies implemented by the Philippine government, the challenges that we encountered during the implementation, and what are the potential reforms that we see to improve the war on drugs. So the key question is that what can the Philippines learn from Taiwan's anti-drug strategy? So the Philippine war on drug stemmed from a wide spread of drug use as well as trafficking of the local name shabu or methamphetamine ingredient, cocaine, marijuana, and ecstasy. These illegal drugs or substance are commonly being used by in a community where there is poverty and less fortunate people. So the impact of this illegal substance increases the crime rates as well as taking the public health at risk. The government responded aggressively, which aims to eliminate illegal drugs and reduce the crime. So, how is the government how the government program affected the community in eliminating the illegal drugs? So, a background and a policy is that the Philippine War on Drugs legal basis is from the Republic Act 9165, which was being implemented at the same time a form of law that becomes the purpose of creating the Philippine Drug Enforcement and Agency that develop the Dangerous Drug Board, as well as giving key strategies on how to eliminate illegal substances and drugs in the community. So the key strategies on war on drugs is the Oplan Tokhang or door-to-door operation on suspected drug users, as well as the programs being implemented by PNP, the Philippine National Police, and the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, which led to raids, arrests, and drug seizures. So they have come to different communities to implement the Oplan Tokhang, which they say that it became an aggression to the poor, at the same time the source of the extrajudicial killings in the Philippines. But also a program of the Philippines is the expansion of rehabilitation centers. So currently, the current administration is shifting to a more relaxed and more approachable strategy, which is the creation of rehabilitation centers, which is the Balay Silangan program. So, before we understand the current situation of the Philippine war on drugs, we have to identify the key players on this program. So number one is the Philippine National Police, who led the raids and arrests and seizures of suspected drug users and drug abusers. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, which has the intelligence operations, the drug seizures and public awareness campaign. The Department of Health, which creates rehabilitation centers and mental health support. The Bureau of Customs, which secures the borders and do drug interceptions. The DILG, or the Department of Interior Local Government, as well as the local government units, who supervises community-based anti-drug programs. The international organization, the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime, the Interpol, International Police, the U.S. Department of Drug Enforcement Agency, which provides training, funding, and intelligence sharing. The media, which has the power to shape the public opinion and exposes the abuse of illegal substance, as well as the drug syndicates and users, which is the main key players in this anti-drug. We have identified 5 challenges and criticism for this Philippine war on drug. Number 1 is the human rights allegations. So the official tally of the Philippine National Police is that 6,000 Filipinos were killed during the war on drugs, but human rights organizations estimated that 20,000 to 30,000 Filipinos were killed during the Philippine war on drug of then President Rodrigo Duterte. Another challenge is the public opinion. Majority of the Filipinos before support this war on drugs because they have supported the campaign because it has an effect on the public safety of their community, as well as it gives them the assurance that no criminalities will be proliferated or will happen into their communities. But it also gives us the criticism from the minority as well as the other groups who dislike the Philippine war on drugs. Another major challenge is the corruption and law enforcement. The Philippine National Police was accused of reselling drug confiscated drugs, bribery, as well as lack of accountability. Another major challenge is the limited rehabilitation program being underfunded and inaccessible to many drug dependents. Currently, the drug rehabilitation center in the Philippines is very limited, and the government is trying to create more facilities to accommodate drug victims as well as those who would like to change from who would like to be drug free. As well as another major challenge is the diplomatic fallout, which criticizes the Philippine war on drugs, especially from the UN, the criticism from the UN, the European Union, the International Criminal Court, as well as the withdrawal of the Philippines in the ICC on March 17, 2019. So, what are the feasible strategies for the Philippine anti-drug war? We have identified 6. First is the due process of fair trials. In our paper, we identified the lapses of the courts or the victims to get a due process and fair trials, ensure that suspects have legal representation, and reduce public abuse as well as false arrest. We also identified the police and judicial accountability, which established independent oversight on law enforcement operation, as well as punishes officers involved in the extrajudicial killings and corruption. Strengthening of the criminal justice system to fasten the case resolution as well as improve the investigation and combat corruption within law enforcement and judiciary. We also encourage the government to uphold human rights as well as support the press freedom, to stop the extrajudicial killings and protect the journalists, activists, and human rights defenders, as well as expanding the rehabilitation centers, increase the government funding, expand the Balay Silangan Center program. And lastly, we would like to recommend the stronger international cooperation, which enhances the intelligence sharing, law enforcement training, and more diplomatic engagement with foreign partners. So feasible collaboration with Philippines and Taiwan. Taiwan's new generation anti-drug strategy focuses on technology-driven drug enforcement, harm reduction, and community rehabilitation, stronger cross-agency collaboration. So in this model, can this model help the Philippines? So in our paper, we have enumerated different benefits and the feasibility of having this model applied to the Philippines. So what are the areas for the Philippine and Taiwan collaboration? First is the strengthening the intelligence and law enforcement. Philippines and Taiwan should have a real-time data sharing between Taiwanese and Philippine agencies, cross-border cooperation to track syndicates. Second is the capacity building and trainings, exchange programs for police and anti-narcotic officers, provide advanced surveillance and investigating training. Third is strengthening the bilateral treaties, extradition agreements for drug traffickers, mutual legal assistance in cross-border drug cases. Fourth is the research and rehabilitation collaboration. We know that Taiwan's healthcare is a top-notch, and we would like the Philippine Department of Health to coordinate with Taiwan's NHRI, sharing their best practices in drug rehabilitation and treatment programs, as well as how to expand the community-based rehab centers in both countries. And lastly, the use of technology and AI-driven solution. We know that Taiwan is a top-notch on technology usage. We would like the Philippines to adopt more on AI-based tracking systems to identify drug trafficking networks, improve border security surveillance, and use of drones, facial recognition, and predictive analytics for crime prevention. So why this partnership matters? Number one, both countries face common drug threats. Second is the stronger cooperation means better enforcement and rehabilitation and potential to set an example for ASEAN in combating drug trafficking effectively. So if this program can be successful, the Philippines could introduce this to the ASEAN countries such as the Thailand, Myanmar, Laos, and other ASEAN countries. So in conclusion, the takeaway is that Philippine war on drugs has led to crime reduction, but at the cost of human rights abuse, extrajudicial killings, and we would like to have the Taiwan's model offer a promising solution for the Philippines to adopt. And Philippine-Taiwan collaboration could improve drug enforcement efficiency, judicial transparency, and rehabilitation success rates. Thank you so much.